All right, here we go with live from Nashville. Cal calling in week 6 against the spread picks. Our worst week yet last week.
Yeah,
And it was kind of for the pool in general, the lowest scoring week.
right.
Let's pull it up now. So we had 49 points, which is pretty bad in general. We came in middle of the pack, came in 10th out of 17. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 10 out of 17. It's not terrible, but
All right.
still in second for the season, but the lead has grown between us and first.
Damn.
So nothing too crazy. Bounce back from it. Let's get a win this week, hopefully. How was Sunday? Anything crazy? Bills went nuts.
No,
Dave
no,
Davis.
yeah, no. That was good. That was good. Honestly, unfortunately, Sunday was just so much like prep for flying in and stuff because we flew in we probably left for the airport like 5 o'clock Monday morning. So like my brain was kind of or not otherwise elsewhere during the entire weekend. But I saw some good games. But yeah, I think that we were kind of out of it from the start. But fantasy was good. That kept us going. So that'll be fun to talk about.
What'd you fly in on? What airline?
United.
United, yeah. We
So
did.
honestly, it's the most like solid, straightforward flight I've like ever been on. Like just no turbulence whatsoever. We were in like the back of the plane, which is like kind of interesting, but just in, out, nothing.
Nice. Yeah, we did Spirit there and Southwest back when we went to
Ballsy.
Nashville.
Spirit is ballsy.
I'm a big Spirit guy, man.
I
think
mean,
it's underrated.
I mean, if you're flying with like no, you don't want any frills attached or like you kind of know exactly what you know like all their tricks because it seems like it's like what is it like each like level of carry on that kind of get you. I don't know. There just seems like there's like a bunch of like, weird
there's
things
a lot
that go
of
with it, but
loopholes.
yeah, but I mean, it's no less safe than anything else. It's just it's not as glamorous. But I mean, yeah, I mean, like
Yeah,
I'm
no
just a bit of a
snacks.
I'm just a bit of like a I don't know what the word would be. I'm not like prissy, but just like I can some things will kind of throw me off here and there, and flying like that might be one of those.
Yeah, no. If I was flying for like an extended trip, I wouldn't do Spirit. But Nashville is just
No, yeah,
Friday to
exactly.
Sunday,
No,
and
for sure, for sure.
Vegas was Saturday to Tuesday, so pretty short. Like it doesn't really make a difference. And
No,
we
yeah,
checked
but
the
yeah,
bag on the Vegas flight too, and it came in fine. So
yeah, I think that's
one
the
for
other thing.
one.
We checked 2 bags, so I think that maybe that's I don't know. Maybe once you put 2 out there, who
Yeah,
knows?
well,
But
you're taking
yeah,
out more risk,
yeah,
definitely. But it was pretty cheap. Like the flight to Vegas on a Saturday, EWR to Vegas, and it's like weird how it works. I guess you just don't think of it this way because of the time difference, but the difference in prices between landing at 5 at Vegas and landing at 10 is just like crazy.
yeah,
And most of
for
the
sure.
flights, it's weird because actually you would think it's the opposite, but for some reason all of the flights are really scheduled to land at 10, so it's tough.
Huh.
But the flight there was only $60 Spirit.
Holy
Um,
cow,
on a Saturday. So like, I don't know. I don't know what the
that's
other airlines
insane.
were, but at some point, I feel like it's a steal sometimes. I've been looking
No, I mean
actually at
it definitely is.
yeah, like looking at Falcons game too, and it's like $60 round trip, Saturday to Monday. It's like
As long as you know what you're getting
yeah,
yourself into, I mean, it's 100% the way to go. I think I just think that I mean, once a few more logistics become involved, like multiple
oh
people,
yeah,
multiple bags, like layovers or this and that, like then you probably don't want to go with that. But no, I mean, I don't know. I think that people hear Spirit and they think it's just like the plane's gonna crash, which is just like not the case. It's like they're just gonna kind of they're not going to make anything super straightforward. And I think a lot of people want super straightforward when they're flying.
yeah. I would view it as like if the trip's as simple as taking the train to New York City, like just take Spirit. But if it's
Right.
like
No, yeah,
complicated or anything else, upgrade.
totally. Yeah, if you're leaving the country, I don't even know. I'm sure Spirit goes abroad, but yeah, I would never go Spirit abroad.
Yeah, and I've heard because it's the bag sizes, but I think since COVID they like stopped being strict since they've been fucking up so much anyway.
Yeah, yeah.
But that's why I say if you're flying short, it doesn't matter anyway. But
Yeah.
nevertheless, I'll come back this week, get some wins. Maybe maybe we'll get a Titan special. They're off this week. They're on a bye actually.
I know. It was kind of like I thought about it. I'm like, damn, like we really picked the 1 week. They're not even in town. Like, and again, we're Monday to Friday, so like we wouldn't have seen anything, but still like maybe a little some buzz or just something going on. But there's no Titans fever. Although we are going to a Preds game tomorrow, so that'll be fun.
Oh, that's sick. Home, it's the
Yeah.
opener, right? Or home opener. They had
Home
like
opener. Yeah, they're
a
playing the Stars.
international.
Yeah,
for
in
some reason.
where's like Prague or something. Yeah, I'll get to it in a little bit, but we met an awesome bartender, just the coolest guy, and we're going to the game with him. So we make
Oh,
friends quick.
sick. Nice.
Yeah, yeah. He
Yeah.
reminds me of Jason Segel from How I Met Your Mother, just like totally just down to earth, goofy guy. So we were like sitting around like, you want to go to a game? He's like, oh yeah. So there we are.
That's funny. I wonder if Nashville has like seasonal workers. I don't know what the season would be though. I guess
Yeah, I
summer.
mean, it's literally anything but winter. I think
Yeah.
it's kind of like, it's kind of going. I think like January to like maybe, I don't know, maybe like end of December, but even Christmas, I feel like would probably be something. So maybe January, February, but then again, that's kind of probably the situation for everywhere. So I don't know.
Yeah. Titans played one day when we were there, but it was preseason and like that stadium stinks. That was the two.
Yeah,
Yeah.
from all the Uber drivers and all the data that we've collected, they're trying to build a new dome stadium so that they can then host a Super Bowl in the next like 5-10 years.
Yeah,
So
it's gonna be crazy.
yeah,
Especially
whenever that happens.
I don't know if I talked to you about it, but the way the like the cycle of Super Bowl cities work, it's like
Yeah.
a crazy money. There's like 6 cities that are just like they're in
Yep.
the rotation where they like contractually have to have it like every
Yeah.
8 years. And like I know
Yeah.
Atlanta's like every 12 years. It's like a really weird formula. But like I feel like Nashville would be in the top 6. It'd be crazy.
Oh my God. Yeah. I mean, once it's there, that's gonna 100% be in a super tight rotation.
Yeah.
But they got to get that dome first.
Yeah, exactly. First up though, Washington bad Thursday night game. Commanders at the Bears. Currently it's Bears +1. I think it's +5 one way or another, or my +0.5 for us one way or another. So it doesn't matter.
Right.
Pick them. 75% of the cash is on Chicago. I got Washington. It's weird. So there's buys. So the lowest is for 3 points. I got Washington
Yeah,
for
I
6
noticed that.
points.
That's funny.
Chicago, I mean, somehow stayed in the game, but I'll still take Washington. They're gonna lose ugly, but as bad as they'll play, they have enough firepower. I think to beat this team. Chicago might give them 12 chances to beat them. So
No, totally. I agree. Washington's just like I mean, both these teams are weird. Like Chicago kind of hung around with Minnesota. That was just like so strange. But I do totally agree with your point that Washington just has like too much firepower, and it's gonna be, if last Thursday's game was horrible because there was just no scoring or nothing going on whatsoever, this game will suck because it's not gonna be good football, but it should be fun. And I just do think if it is back and forth, Washington, they got enough weapons to just kind of find a way to make it through. And as we've discussed, Fields is just not it. So
yeah, and I think we've gotten our last 4 Thursday night football games wrong, and we usually put high values. So this time it gets snapped. Hopefully, next up, Bengals at the Saints. Currently Saints +1.5, 58% on the Bengals. Let's see, where do I got this one? I got it for Saints for 7. You got Bengals for 5. Okay, I guess neither of us are that confident, but I mean, I told myself a couple weeks ago I'm going to keep betting against the Bengals until they prove me otherwise.
No, I totally
yet to
agree.
Do that. So.
Yeah, I mean, there's just very little for me to comment here, as exhibited by the fifth level of confidence. I mean, if this was a regular week, it'd probably be like my second or third least confident. Since he hasn't really shown me anything, but neither of the Saints, and I mean, I guess we can just kind of go off of pedigree here, but clearly it's just not. There's not much to say on the other side. It's a toss up.
Yeah, I think I read those Bengals and the Rams are the 2 lowest in yards per play right now in the NFL.
Wow.
So, I mean, we said it was one of the worst matchup wise. It was fine because it was 2 okay teams, but in terms of quality of teams, probably one of the worst Super Bowls. I was talking to my friend about this over the summer. We got into a big discussion ranking all of the Super Bowl teams since 2010. And it's funny because like if you rank it that way, it's like I just didn't type up that Falcons team, but if you do it that way, the Falcons are like the 6th best team.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know, makes it seem a little bit better when you view it that way compared to
the
Super Bowl. Nevertheless, up next, Jags at the Colts. Currently Colts -2, 63% of the cash is on the Colts. I got it pretty high. I got Jags. It's funny when it was like this. It's weird. They just played, so I don't know why they're playing again. But a couple weeks ago, we had it for Colts a little bit high. But I don't know. The Colts, I think they've only cemented that this is a pretty unspectacular team.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people you can blame for it. But I think Jacksonville. I don't want to take too much stock into losing a division game. Maybe
Nah,
they're
I
not going to
agree.
be a 11-win division winner, but if Tennessee loses a couple games here, they can win this division with 9 wins and be a fine team. So I think
Yeah,
Indy's heading towards the bottom.
I have it pretty high too. I have Jacksonville. What is that? Again, on my phone.
14.
Here. 14.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I feel good. I think that, as you said, I think that people are putting way too much stock in that loss against Houston. Houston's not good, obviously, but I don't know what the stat was, but essentially it was like Houston has beaten Jacksonville in the past like X amount of meetings that they've had, and it's just one of those almost like you look, it's like a scheduled loss. It's like just what, you just got to chalk this one up as a loss because for one reason or another, Houston just has their number. And granted, now these teams have been good since Deshaun was still quarterbacking there, and obviously I guess the Blake Bortles AFC run for those teams, but no, I think it's just kind of been a lot of nasty back and forth. And look for them to bounce back, I'd say. And I mean, Indiana hasn't shown us, or Indianapolis. Wow, I got my states all mixed up now. But Indianapolis hasn't shown. I mean, you sure that Thursday night game they won, but like, I mean, at the end of the day, did that make you feel any more confident? And it's almost funny, but like, I can understand why people are maybe jumping off of the Jags bandwagon because of that performance on Sunday. But like, as silly as it sounds, the way the Colts won, even though they won, it makes me feel less confident in them in this game than the Jags losing on Sunday, if that makes any sense whatsoever. I just feel like
Yeah.
that's just a game that they just didn't get up for. And you know what? Big deal. Whereas this one was like, all right, here's a bounce back spot. Whereas the Colts are like, all right, yeah, cool, we're back. We figured it out. And then it's going to be another just, 9 point output from them. So I feel pretty good about the Jags here.
Yeah, took the words out of my mouth. I think, although don't quote me on this, I don't think the Jags have scored a touchdown in their last 7 quarters of play.
Holy cow. All right, well, let's hope
but,
but
nevertheless, this is a team that just beat them 20-0 about 2 weeks ago. I don't think that much has changed one way or another. Except,
Nope,
I mean,
agree.
Taylor's not playing this week. So next up, Vikings at the Dolphins. This is going to be, should have been a great game, but looks like Skylar Thompson is going to be quarterbacking for the Dolphins.
Oh, jeez.
Even with that, spread is currently 3.5 for the Dolphins, 72% of the cash on Miami. I don't know how you can really bet on Skylar Thompson only getting a field goal.
Nah.
I think Minnesota, almost like Indianapolis, isn't really. They're getting a lot of chances to change the narrative, but they've yet to really prove. Even though they're 4-1, I don't think I view them any differently than I did in preseason. But it's tough because I do like the Dolphins there at home, but Thompson, I just don't think could do it.
No, yeah, I agree. There's not much else to say. He looked like, certainly didn't look competent, but he didn't look like freaked the F out during the entire game. But yeah, it's not enough points to handicap how, I don't know. I don't know what the word would be to describe him in that offense, but it just doesn't move the same way. Like even the run game, it just, everything kind of feels like out of flux there. So just take the healthy Minnesota team and have to assume that they'll win by at least a little bit more than a field goal. So, we feel decent about it, I think, based on both of our rankings here, but I feel better about this game than I do about some of the other ones coming up.
Yeah, just a weird one because I feel like if Tua is playing, might be one of my highs.
Yeah, big swing. Yeah.
So it's I mean, I feel like, I guess the spread would probably be like -2 Miami, maybe minus, maybe it'd just be -3, but
yeah, probably home field,
tough swing.
Somewhat even teams, but yeah.
Next up, Ravens at the Giants, currently +6 for the Giants. 88% of the cash is on Baltimore. Giants feel good story so far. Is it coaching? Is it the roster? Is Daniel Jones turning the corner? I don't know. The Ravens, I mean, we're probably going to say this the whole episode because there's only one good team in the NFL right now. But Ravens also, I mean, they had the hot start. They had the fun games versus the Dolphins to start the season. But you just like to see it more on a week-to-week basis and explosion. I mean, I got so depressed watching that game on Sunday night. And I'm happy the Monday night game was awesome because, man, theoretically, that Sunday night game should be one of the 5 best games of the year. And they just they crawled 20 yards, punted. There's nothing happening. It's I don't know. NFL is in a weird state right now, but it's a typical Lamar situation. But I don't know. As the week goes by, Baltimore strike me as a team that might not have the juice, and Bateman's out too. So I wouldn't mind the Giants for low.
Yeah, no, I stuck them in there for low just because I don't know. It's just Baltimore's so weird. As you were saying with that Cincy Baltimore game, it's like 2 teams who don't want to kind of lean into what they should be doing. It's like just kind of give Lamar the ball and let him do whatever he feels best. Like, just some of those play calls still confuse me. Like J.K. Dobbins, yeah, I mean, he's a great runner, but still coming off the ACL, weird. So I don't know. There's just a lot of question marks, I guess, to that offense. So why not just put the ball in the hands of the guy who's clearly your most dynamic player? And then on Cincy, we've talked about them enough, right? It's just, it almost feels like they're just trying to, you can't even say get cute because what they're doing isn't cute, but it's like they're trying to outsmart themselves. So yeah, I don't feel great about either of these teams. And yeah, it's been fun as a Giants fan. It's been cool. It's been fun. That London game was awesome. I'm not here to say that Daniel Jones is the guy, but clearly something is kind of starting to click in his head because he doesn't look nearly as frightened. He doesn't have that deer in headlights look anymore. And a few of those passes, like they looked like legitimate quarterback passes. Like he really dropped back in the pocket, didn't have anything going, kind of stepped up a little bit, and then before you know, he's like dropping a few, I guess we can say, dimes over the middle. So it's been encouraging. And you talked to it a second ago. The coaching has been solid. They're drawing up some fun plays, and it's like they're bringing back the Wildcat not by not for the need to get cute, but by necessity, and it's working. So who knows? I mean, they're fun, they're frisky. 5.5 points is kind of a lot of points when you think about the fact that they were down by multiple scores against what I continue to think is a decent defense in Green Bay. But at this point, I'm starting to think that maybe that's not the case. But regardless, they look like a competent football team, and the Ravens are a competent football team as well. But if the Giants are, let's say, a tier 2 below, 5.5 points, that feels enough. I think that you could maybe go with that and feel pretty confident.
Yeah. I thought, like you said, looked like a functional NFL offense. I love the deep crossers to Slayton all game.
Yeah,
I mean, that's what they should have been doing the whole time.
I know.
And the offensive line's playing great too. I think
surprisingly great.
The Falcons, that's the one thing. Shanahan always has a pretty good one too. I think that's what gets underrated. Think of like good offensive coaches. You're like, oh, he'll scheme a guy wide open. He'll get a running back in space. But I think what these guys do is just make their offensive line so functional.
Right.
That's kind of the Shanahan thing. You play to your weakness, right? It's okay to lose blocks. You want to lose blocks a certain way. You want to get the protections going a certain way.
Right.
And Dable, not from that tree, but I think smart offensive guy probably follows the same principle. So it's interesting that, imagine if the Chargers, for months and months, everyone says it's going to be Dable to the Chargers. They hire Staley.
Yeah.
Look at it now. Staley might be next coach fired, and Dable might be coach of the year. It's tough luck. Next up, Jets at the Packers. We just lost the Giants. Currently minus 7.5 Packers. 65% of the cash is on the Jets. I don't really care. Still not impressed with Zach Wilson. I think the way they play their offense with Joe Flacco compared to him is all you need to know about Zach Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
This is a guy who, when they say put people around Justin Fields and give him a chance, that's basically what you're watching with the Jets. It's probably Justin Fields if he had competent people around him. You just can't be changing your offense that much for the number 2 pick compared to Joe Flacco. And maybe they'll keep winning games, but I think it'll catch up to them eventually. A lot of points, though, for a team that I don't know if they can put up more than 24 right now in the Packers. They are home, though. One thing underrated, too, they started giving teams the choice last year. I know the Falcons took it. Most of these teams don't take bye weeks after London now. Giants aren't, Packers aren't. So maybe that comes into play. Packers are home, though. But nevertheless, I'm fine to keep betting against Zach Wilson. So
yeah, no, I'm definitely more on the bet against Zach Wilson than I am on the bet on the Packers train. But yeah, I don't know. You did say it. Like that win last week for New York was like, I don't know. It's not impressive, but it's totally kind of goes with what you were saying. It's like now all of a sudden it's like the Breece Hall show, and he's an awesome runner, but like this wasn't happening 2-3 weeks ago, and it was Flacco, and they were attempting 60+ passes. So clearly, yeah, it's kind of like let's not. We'll win, maybe in spite of Zach Wilson, I guess. So they'll probably lose this week because of Zach Wilson. I have a feeling they're going to probably force him to make some plays, make some throws that he's probably not comfortable or able to make yet. And you know what? It's not saying much, but it feels cool to say that, Daniel Jones is a better quarterback and their offense is better. So it's nice to say that the Giants actually have a better quarterback and a better offense than some of these other teams. So, yeah, I think that the Packers will win pretty comfortably, and especially back at home after a weird London game. But who knows? This might be the last time I defend them this year. So we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, 14 completions last week for Zach Wilson.
Yeah, no, it's yeah.
Don't look at the 40 points and assume anything differently. This is a bad
Right.
quarterback with good coach, good roster around him, but not willing to bet on that right now. Next up, two of our teams. I guess it's probably two of our favorite teams to bet on.
Yeah, this is hard.
It was tough to do it. I was gonna put it one out of principle, but then the Niners got so injured. I kind of like the spread for the Falcons. It's currently plus 5.5, 84% of the cash is on the Falcons. Falcons are wearing their throwback 1970 unis, my favorite uniforms. I bought the helmet.
Is that your
before the
helmet?
year. Yeah.
Yes, let's
Oh
go.
my God. They're
Let's
the
go.
best.
It's the helmet game.
I hate it. Stinks because theoretically the Falcons probably have, there's a lot of there's good color schemes, but I think the Chargers and the Falcons, if you ask the average person, just have the best
100%.
like color schemes.
Black and red, you can't beat it.
Yeah, to be creative with. But the Falcons just have pretty basic uniforms. But these uniforms, I will say, are amazing. I can't wait to see them Sunday. The players are saying, look good, feel good, play good. I think it's a team that if they got the ball back last week and they didn't get that penalty called on them, unbelievable. There's two penalties that they back-to-back third downs. I can't believe they called. We have to Mariota begin the season, but the metrics are turning on him. He's looking like, a couple bad games away from that Wilson tier, Zach Wilson tier, and Russell Wilson tier, I guess, too. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
but the Niners just got so bad. And what a shellacking. I mean, we said last week that over-under was like 38. Niners put up 38 on their own. But they got so injured in that game. I don't know. I'm fine taking nearly 6 points. It's weird. It'd feel good with the 6, but I think the Falcons, America's team right now, in the dome, home, see if they can get to 6-0 on the spread. Maybe lose by a field goal. I don't think that surprises anyone.
No, not at all. They have a good enough offense with,
It's will play too, but
yeah, thank God, fantasy wise. But yeah, I think that there's a reason why that they've just been able to cover all these spreads, and it's just they do the very good thing of out of the game for a little bit, and then all of a sudden it's like boom, boom, 2 scores on unanswered, and that's like, oh, holy shit, they just covered the spread again. So I like that, especially as you mentioned all those injuries for San Fran. So get with that where we have it or thereabouts.
Yeah. With the trade this week of Deion Jones, the Falcons broke the record for largest dead cap hit in the season, which is pretty good. I mean, they're gonna have a ton of cap space and maybe a good pick, maybe not next year.
That's odd.
Could be interesting because if you look at right now, the teams with the least 3 cap space: Bucks, Saints, Panthers. So could be looking at a situation where like the Falcons, it's like the AFC South the next 5 years, where it's a bunch of bad teams, and the Falcons are like an average team that ends up putting up 9-8 seasons to win the division for a couple years.
Yeah.
But like I said, I don't really care about wins and losses this year. I think foundation's being laid, and as good as they're playing, it's kind of like last year where they it was week 16 and they were like, if they won out, they're gonna make the playoffs. I mean, right now they're fun, but they also have the 7th pick, so it's like perfect. I don't know. I feel like the NFL's in like a really good. It used to be like impossible. I didn't like them going to 7 teams, but I do like that. You're even if you don't miss the playoffs, you get such a high draft pick where it feels good.
Yeah.
But it doesn't feel like the NBA where the whole league makes the playoffs. It still feels good when you make it. It's a good mix. Sure. 7 teams is like perfect.
Yeah, especially with how like weird the NFC is. It's like legitimately every team not named like, I don't know, the Bears, the Lions, I don't know, like maybe just them. Like I feel like everyone else is just kind of in contention. Maybe the football team or the Commanders, whatever they're called. But yeah, no, it's fun.
Yeah, for sure. Next up, speaking of the Lions, New England Patriots at the Cleveland Browns. Currently Cleveland minus 2.5. We sat there and I said that line is fishy, and we sit here every week saying we don't want to bet against the Lions, and that's why. Let me see. I'm going to pull it up. What's your thoughts on this game here? I think I have Cleveland for midway up the board. I got them for 9.
You're gonna have to remind me where I have them. I think
Let's see. You got them for 6. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
so
right around there.
just like it's just like I don't know. It's kind of like the same thing every week with Cleveland now, right? It's like they're solid enough to hang around every game, but they're never going to blow you away, and sometimes they're going to find a way to blow the game away. So I can't feel super confident on either side. And I don't know what to think of this whole New England situation right now. So I'll kind of default to you because I don't know. It's one of those that I haven't paid enough attention to just because of how strange and in flux everything seems to be.
I think they're both pretty good teams, honestly. And I think, that win, not win, but that close game Cleveland had last week is, I think it'll look pretty favorable. But that's our team like the
Yeah,
Falcons. Cleveland has the 8th pick right now. How is that? Like, that's just
that's
crazy,
crazy.
right? They feel like such a good football team. And it's
Yeah,
like,
because
and they have the
there
8th
isn't like
pick.
one runaway there's a few runaway horrible teams, but like there's a lot of just kind of these like 2 and 3 little mixers in there where it's like yeah they're better than their record shows, but then it's like you look at their record and they have the same record as I don't know, I can't think of it off the top of my head, but it's like there's a clear disparity between some of those 2 and 3 teams right now.
Yeah. And I think I think New England's a pretty good team, but I think Cleveland's a playoff team at home, even 3 spread. And it's one of those games can't really give a QB advantage to the Patriots. I was looking up last week, 11 of 17 took Detroit
Wow.
-3, including, I mean, this is crazy. This is why I didn't mind putting them for 1. I guess we put Detroit too, but we had them for 1. But the Detroit values 8, 12, 9, 16, 14, 12, 14, 11.
Wow.
And then you get shut out to the Patriots. I mean, it's interesting. I don't Dan Campbell's not a coach that should be fired, but it's weird how his public approval rating is so high. I don't know.
I know. It's
Crazy.
just it's because he's super passionate and he cries when he talks. Like he seems like an awesome guy by all accounts, but I don't know. Maybe that's not what they need right now. Maybe they need
Yeah,
someone
yeah.
more X's and O's and less crying and hugging and screaming. So
Yeah, and I'm not even saying he's a bad coach, but I mean,
no,
there's a
not at
lot of
all.
coaches that
Just
have
maybe not.
no approval rating, but somehow this guy who's like 3-20 has like a 90% approval rating. It's just weird.
Yeah. It's
Like,
interesting.
I mean, if Cliff Kingsbury went 3-20, I mean, he'd be at a 1%. So it makes Dan
Yeah.
Campbell, it's just weird. Next up, Bucks at the Steelers, one of the biggest spreads of the week. Steelers are home, getting 8.5. 76% of the cash is on the Steelers. You got Steelers for the lowest. I got them for the second lowest.
Yeah.
I just think, I don't know. I think weirdly enough, Godwin only played half the snaps last week. Also, I just don't think Tampa, we're going to say it a lot. I don't think they're a great team right now. I think they're getting there and they will get there.
Yeah.
Kenny Pickett showed some signs of life last week. I mean, he got killed. He had a lot of chances to do it, but I don't think he's going to be an incompetent quarterback. I think he'll be pretty solid
No.
back there. 8.5 for a team. I mean, let's say the Bucks put up 24. I don't know. I could see a 24-17 game. Steelers get a late touchdown. I think picking drive down with those weapons, get it back to recover. What do you think?
No, I totally agree. It's I'm not going to compare the Falcons offense to the Steelers offense, but it's just hang around enough in the game just so you kind of you're within striking distance. And then yeah, I mean I'm a big Pickens guy, so it's just a freaking 60-yard bomb down to Pickens, and before you know it, yeah, maybe it's a one-score game. But I totally agree too that Pickett does look pretty poised. Obviously they got slammed against the Bills, but at no point in the game did he look completely out of place. Yeah, he had a few pretty bad throws, but I don't know. Mitch seems like a great guy, but clearly you kind of start to see a bit of like the difference in quality between Pickett and Trubisky. With Mitch, it's kind of like just his first read. Yep, that's my move. Otherwise, it's just scramble and look confused and never really look kind of settled in there. Whereas Pickett, surprisingly enough, even with those 2 gloves, just kind of he looks like he kind of understands what's going on out there. So I think that they should feel pretty confident, and I don't feel confident about which way this game is going to go, but just because I'm picking Pitt, I could see again that classic backdoor cover. Who knows? Maybe some sort of weird defensive play keeps him in it. But yeah, I don't know. Pitt's definitely got some better days ahead, but I think that this is more so just kind of an indictment on the Bucks not looking like their final form just quite yet.
Yep. Next up, Panthers at the Rams. Currently, I think the biggest spread of the week. Rams -10. 92% of the cash is on the Panthers. I don't know. I was on a team a couple years ago, not on the team, but the Falcons had a team a couple years ago, kind of similar situation to the Panthers where they look lifeless. They're 0-5. The coach gets fired. And I think they went into Minnesota like 8-point dogs and they actually won the game outright.
There you go.
Could be a similar situation. I mean, the Rams aren't a good team. Panthers aren't as good as that Falcons team was, but 10's a big number for a team, just like we said last game. I don't know what the Rams offense really is right now. I think they're kind of there floundering around. I don't know if Stafford's elbow is still getting warmed up. I don't know if they don't have the receivers to do what they want to do or the O-line to do what they want to do. But I was going to take the 10 points. I got it. Let's see. I got Carolina as my lowest. I actually got them as your second lowest. So pretty in line.
Yeah. No, yeah. And I just feel like I'll take Carolina because it's the I guess new coach, but anyone but the old coach bump, like that always kind of helps, I think, a little bit. It's that locker room speech is pretty straightforward and easy, but I think that it's one that always works, at least for, maybe a quarter or two. So
Yeah.
maybe we'll keep it close for a little bit. And close enough the entire time to cover that 10 points or 10 and a half, whatever it was. And Baker's out though, right?
Yeah, so it's gonna be PJ Walker.
PJ,
That's the only down. So that's the only I got lows. It's like, it's because I don't know. Maybe it's an upgrade. Baker's been horrible.
Maybe, who knows?
This guy, he came out today. He's like, yeah, my job's just to sling it to the DJ Moore. It's the only thing I know what to do. So I don't know. And CMC. So it's
listen, I got no problem with that.
Understands the assignment, I guess. I don't know.
Understands the assignment, whereas Baker, maybe he understands it, but he also understands how to throw a ball. It's going to get batted down 15 times a game. So we'll see. But yeah, I think I feel pretty good with Carolina.
Yep. Next up, Cardinals at the Seahawks. Weird game. 52% of the cash is on Arizona. Currently, Seattle is getting 2.5 home. Let's see. I got this right in the middle. We both got afraid, actually. Gino's been awesome. I mean, these throws, yes. I sat there like I hate being the person who's like, oh, Mahomes did this. But I mean, come on. If anyone did this, these are insane throws.
Yeah.
These are throws they have the college kids do on air on their pro day just to like show off the scouts. These are insane on the run, over defenders, in between defenders. With the perfect arc, perfect time.
That one to Lockett was absurd. That it was like just literally, it was right as I say in the breadbasket.
Yeah,
so
like
pretty cool.
I audibly screamed when that happened. I was like, come on, like because you sit there and it's like I don't want to sit here and say this every week, but like back in 2018, I mean that was just a league. That was happening every week, and now it's like that never happened. So like when it comes on my screen, it's like awesome to see. I mean, they look awesome. And maybe it's fluky, but I don't know. I don't think Arizona's a great team. So why not take maybe the better offense, or I guess definitely the better offense right now at home.
Yeah. No, and I'm excited to see what Kenneth Walker is going to look like now with most of the reps. Tough to see Penny, of course, because he was running pretty well. But
yeah, I know.
Yeah, I guess we'll wait and see. But I mean, I don't think he's not a crazy downgrade, I wouldn't say. But we just haven't seen enough yet. So who knows? Maybe he'll pop as well, and they could just continue to be a fun offense that somehow, some way, just seems to stick. I feel like they prey on teams like this, where it's like I feel like it's kind of like Denver, where it's like teams that have a clear, identity crisis maybe, or a deficiency in certain areas. Like they're just, they're well coached and they're hungry. So this will be fun.
Yeah. I'm I guess excited isn't the word, because I will be watching 0 seconds of this game.
Oh no, not one chance. But
I texted my friends. This week will be the record low for red zone views, because the 4 o'clock window is Carolina Panthers at the Rams, Arizona Cardinals at the Seahawks, and then the game of the year, the Super Bowl matchup. I mean, hopefully it'll be, the second best game of the decade behind last year's matchup. Bills at the Kansas City Chiefs. Currently Chiefs plus 2.5. 70% of the cash is on the Chiefs. I mean, I hate to say it, but I think Mahomes should be getting a field goal or more here. So I got the Bills as my third highest. You got them as your highest. What do you think?
Yeah. No, it's kind of as I said it last week. I think the Bills that Steelers game was their tune-up for this week. It's like, let's make sure everything's working. Let's not show too much. Let's not get anyone hurt, and we'll just ride that momentum into this weekend. And again, on the Chiefs end, they kind of had a grind. They kind of had a fight for that win. And again, there's a few weird calls there towards the end that were like, ooh, obviously in their favor, but probably, the first and second best teams in the league. But I still do feel way confident in the Bills. obviously they've they've had some weird ones here and there, but that's all part of the season. I think that they're gonna be fully healthy now, which well, I say fully healthy, at least in the offensive side. McKenzie's back, and for most people, they don't think that matters, but McKenzie really thrives in these bigger games where Diggs is a lot more covered. The Gabe Davis explosions downfield aren't really as accessible. So McKenzie's going to continue to pop up for those, little 8-9 yard routes over the middle. So they're going to be able to move the chains. And the Chiefs have been pretty susceptible to the run game all season so far. So that's also going to work in the Bills' favor. And while it's not awesome to say, I think the Bills are just so far they've been more well equipped for the regular season. It seems like the Chiefs still have that edge in the postseason. So to be determined on how that ends up. But I feel very confident in the Bills to come out, seek their revenge, and hopefully have that continue on for the rest of the season. So shall say.
Yeah, I think the Chiefs are a pretty bad version of themselves right now. Kelsey, great game. He still only had 20 yards. Their receivers right now are just pretty bad, I think.
Yeah.
And pretty one-dimensional. I don't think there's one you can go to and say run any route in the field. It stinks. I was watching that game. It was an awesome game Monday. Probably one of my favorites of the year. But it is a little sad watching that offense. It's like, remember when Tyreek Hill was on this team?
Right.
It's weird. It's like, you almost took it for granted. That's a once in a lifetime type team. I feel like, Mahomes, Kelsey, Hill in their primes.
Yeah.
And it's just, man, I don't know. I don't understand the decision to get rid of him. It's like you play football and you build rosters to get a guy like Tyreek Hill and Patrick Mahomes on the same team. And you don't trade those guys so you can get more guys so you can hopefully one day get another Tyreek Hill. None of it makes sense to me. And I think they're still one of the best teams, but I think that's more due to the state of the league than to the town of themselves right now. But I do think the Bills in any of the past couple of years would have been viewed as one of the best teams in the league. So I think they should be given 3.5 here. So
yeah, I agree.
2 games left. We're running out of time for episode 1. Come back real quick, finish it out. Episode 2.